Good morning. I hope that you're watching us on this beautiful Tuesday, feeling blessed this morning. That's a great feeling when you can count the blessings in your life. And if you have not begun to do that yet, I think you're going to by the time we're through talking with our first guest, because this is Patricia Watlington, who came our way, 4 years ago, maybe?
Gosh,
3?
has it been that long? Probably 3 years ago.
She's a very active volunteer, if you will, with the Children's Nutrition Program of Haiti. And when Patricia was here, besides talking about the program, she couldn't quit talking about the program's founder. So this morning, ta-da, we've got him, Dr. Mitch Mutter. Good to see you.
Hi, thank you for having us.
So you're a little bit embarrassed, I think, to you don't want to brag about what you have done over the course of 20 plus years in Haiti?
Well, I started going to Haiti in 1988, but the nutrition program started in the mid-90s, and then we incorporated and became a 501c3. But certainly I couldn't have done it myself. I mean, God sent such wonderful people, and we coalesced to Chuck Sternberg, John Talbert, Peter Rawlings, pediatrician.
Oh,
so
yeah.
many good people. Yeah.
All these names I'm going to say,
Yeah.
oh, I know him, oh, I know him. They don't get much better than Father John Talbert.
That's right.
So what you do with the Children's Nutrition Program is y'all are kind of the boots on the ground helping these children in Haiti, who obviously touched your heart and continue to have the balanced nutrition. But you also offer people like us who want a way to give, but we don't quite know where to do it, an opportunity to make a difference, right, Patricia?
Absolutely. You know, the Children's Nutrition Program, known as I mentioned in Haiti as Corey Timoun, this is our 23rd year. And Mitch always says it's through the grace of God that we're still surviving there. But these kids there, mostly kids under 5, depend on us. And if we pulled the plug, we know what would happen. So the support of the community and the people that have been to Haiti, or those that have learned about the survival challenges for these young children, are the ones that allow us to be the boots on the ground.
I have not ever been to Haiti. My husband went when the earthquake hit with the Red Cross 2 years in a row, and he really couldn't talk about it. The first year he went, he really couldn't talk about it. And a lot of people around here do mission trips. It's very impactful. There must be something very special, however, about Haiti.
Well, I think that I was in a men's Bible study many years ago, and someone said, and most of the men had been with me to Haiti, and they said, Haiti, 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 I'm sick and tired of hearing about Haiti. And I was just stunned, and I said, well, that's true. I said, but what have you done here in Chattanooga? That's what matters. This is what God has called me to do, and many other people in Chattanooga, but God calls us all to different things. And about a year later, he came up to me and apologized. But it's just everybody, you know, Dave Wharton has a huge thing with children here in Chattanooga, adopting children and working with children, and his wife Stephanie. So it's what God calls you to do. And Patricia, here's our motor.
Yeah, because she's a good one. So, I mean, we're talking in kind of generalities, and I can imagine people at home thinking, okay, Julie, but what is it that they do? So, okay, Patricia, turn on your motor. What is it that you do?
The heart and soul of the Children's Nutrition Program are women, and they're called monitrices. And we've been doing this a long time. There's a lot of stuff going on in our climate right now about being fair and empowering women and empowering children and so forth. But we hire these women in these villages called monitrices, and they're the ones that go out and find these children that are, and recognize the conditions of malnutrition when that starts. Because what happens in Haiti, they don't have the resources we have.
Right.
I mean, we may have a lot of problems with our government, and we may agree or disagree, but there are things we depend on
We
every
have the grocery
day.
store down the street.
That's right.
Right.
And Haiti doesn't have that. And when you mentioned the earthquake, they have still not recovered from that. And that was 11 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so every day when you get up in the morning, you have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or something to eat. In Haiti, the biggest concern, the biggest challenge is, can I feed my children today? Can I get through today? And so what we do is we don't give handouts. Haiti, unfortunately, has been the recipient of so many handouts because they've had crisis after crisis, right? But what we do is we empower the women primarily and the children and the communities through the monitreases.
Okay, so they go out, they know the people, they find children who are not having the proper nutrition, and then what? They bring them to a local school? How do they get that nutrition?
Mitch, you want to address that?
Well,
so much to it.
There is a lot to it, and we have rally posts where the health workers are there, so they'll bring them to rally posts. When we have mobile clinics, but unfortunately during the pandemic, we've not been able to have these clinics. It still costs to go to the hospital there, even though they have nothing. And an example of what they do, when I was in a mobile clinic a few years ago, a mother brought her child in, had scabies and had lesions, staph all over, and the first thing you say is, what about the rest of the family? Well, there are 4 other children and a grandmother there, and so why didn't you bring them? I only had enough money to come for one, and it was only 25 goods, which was 40 cents, and so then you don't give away, but you pull money out of your pocket, give it to the mother to go back and bring the other children and check in, and then you treat the whole family.
And then am I right, though, that in the midst of all of this, what would seem hopelessness, they find joy?
Oh, they minister to me and my boys, my family, more than I've ever ministered to them. They are the joy of life and the true meaning of life, and they mean more to the development of my children.
So I don't want to get you emotional because I don't like to play Barbara Walters, but
No,
sometimes
no,
it happens.
no,
we only have about a minute or so left. For
Okay.
anybody else who's moved, can people just contribute to what you do, Mitch?
Yes,
Oh, certainly.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I mean, you can do it. $20 would be helpful. A monthly donation would be helpful. You want to make an impactful difference to our neighbor that's an hour's flight from here, you go to Haiti with Mitch Mutter. Reverend John Talbert, who you mentioned earlier, he said, wow, I thought I would go to Haiti to make a difference there. They changed my life.
That's what I hear.
The impact on my
absolutely true.
life. So we will be taking
But I
trips
want to
there again.
emphasize that we are not a giveaway program. We teach Haitians how to take care of Haitians and how to grow in that environment to be leaders of their country. That's so critical, because empowering Haitians to take care of Haitians is what our program's all about.
It's a conversation that requires far more than what we were able to give today on 3+U, but they do have a website. They've got a phone number. They would love for you to call them if you feel like it would be something meaningful in your life to be a participant in what they do.